Alrighty, what up, you guys? I'm Bryson Smith.
And I'm Javin.
And this is
Etcetera. Woo! Yes. High five. Awesome. We're here.
Serious. I'm not even joshing you. I mean, Jesus. But I am going to warn you. I'm kind of an odd duck. I mean, I'm serious. I got some extreme kinks.
Okay.
But I'm real gentle. You want to see something?
Sure.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Why?
Welcome to another episode of A Casual Conversation as we dive deeper into this Euphoria roller coaster. If you're new to the channel, check us out. We run a podcast and we talk about films, anime, and pretty much anything we want to talk about.
Anything.
Subscribe, like, support us, follow us on all of our social medias. That will be in the description. We'll also have Ralph's social media in the description because he just made an Instagram. Goes by Ralph the Goat God. So definitely check his content out. And yeah, so we're going to hop right into episode 3 of Euphoria and start to break it down. This episode really goes in. So this is what's her name? Kat's episode. Right. This episode goes more into depth on her. We see her become not just a bitch, but a bad bitch in this episode when she owns up to everything she's done.
Which is so great for her.
Right?
I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, she starts becoming. She gets a social media presence as we see her. She grows her following from the sex video that got leaked out in the previous episode, which is pretty cool. And we see how she becomes like popular on Tumblr and whatnot. And yeah,
she owns her shit.
Yeah, owns. Yeah,
it's admirable. She takes ownership of her shit. Which,
right.
I don't know if that's the theme of the episode. I didn't actually get a theme from this episode. If you guys did, please
I thought it was. I would say it was pretty much Maddie becoming a bad bee.
Oh, you mean Cat?
Why do I always think Maddie when I think Cat? I associate them together in my head for whatever reason. Yes, Cat. But it's because I just want to say it's because I feel like that's sort of like what Maddie is. She kind of takes ownership of like if she like I feel like if she had a sex tape out, she'd just be like, all right, it's out, so like who the fuck cares?
Yeah, and she'd even like she'd play it off. She'd take control of the narrative, which she did.
Right.
Kat and her did that in the previous episode.
Yeah, Kat kind of comes to that, which is why I put them together in my mind. So if I make that mistake, I'm sorry.
It's funny that their names aren't similar, but it's like thematically you see them as same, and I find that funny. Yeah. No, but that was definitely like the main point of the episode where it was Rue dealing with her drug shit, Jules still developing her thing with Nate, Maddie developing some kind of jealousy. I don't even know if it's jealousy per se, it's more suspicion of Nate.
Right, yeah, definitely suspicion.
And then there's Cassie and McKay. McKay's just going through initiation, and Cassie and him are in love or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we see a lot of different things in the third episode.
Oh, you know what?
What's up?
That might be the theme.
What?
McKay and Cassie say that they love, are like, I don't know if we're in love. And then Jules also says about Shy Guy, I don't know if we're in love. And Rue, and they clearly do. And then Rue also admits to some kind of love. Yeah. And then Maddie, I'm going to shoehorn this in a little bit, but Maddie's, her relationship with love is complicated at this point. And Kitty Cat, Kitty Queen, she's exploring not love per se, but sexuality in a different degree. Like that aspect of her life is being more developed. So I guess all of them are experiencing some kind of development in the romantic sexual region this episode.
I never really thought about that, but that's exactly what's going on.
I found it. Nate didn't do anything. That's kind of why. Yeah.
It's interesting watching watching Euphoria all over again for the second time since I've first seen it. You kind of like picking up new things. I do want to say though that we see Rue for the first we know she got out of rehab and she tried to quit doing drugs, but we see her like try to not do drugs for the first time in this episode. With when we see her laying in bed talking to Jules, and Jules lets her know that, I don't want to be with someone who's going to end up killing themselves. So she actually tries to like stop herself from doing drugs, which doesn't go well because she ends up doing them because she's an addict and that's what addicts do. But I think it's cool to Jules essentially can possibly maybe help Rue.
Yeah, at the very least, Jules is a positive influence
Right,
on her
that's
life.
what I'm saying.
Non-judgmental, but still supportive.
Right.
Not enabling of her addiction, but still ensures.
Evan's cousin tried to come over here. Completely unprofessional as always.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
That's our brand. Except for Ralph. He's always,
I don't know why
he's
this
always
is
a
going off
professional.
topic. I don't know why when we're recording, people have the urge to.
love
I'm like,
it.
why?
People love coming over
So
here. It's like, well, I guess it looks interesting.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like, come on now. We're clearly doing something way off topic.
It's an interest. I kind of want to run a social experiment to see, like, just is that true? If it looks like you're doing something that should not be interrupted, does that increase?
Let's go see what they're doing over here.
Yeah, so fucking funny. We're gonna do that. So point is, Jules is a positive influence on Rue's life,
Right.
enough to where Rue falls a little bit in love with her.
She falls a lot of bit
at
in
least
love with her
somewhat.
at some point.
Yeah, an infatuation. Let's call it.
Well, yeah, she becomes really obsessed with Jules. And in one of these episodes, I don't think this wasn't in the third, but I remember Rue was talking. She was like, there is nothing that Jules can do to where I would not like her or something. Like, I am all in it for Jules.
Which is a crush. Like, that's an
Yeah, it's a
infatuation.
big crush.
It
It is.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's very positive for her. But then she falls back off the wagon and does, she... Again, I think it's important, like what you said, that's what addicts do. That's not meant to be derogatory to addicts. It's literally like she encountered drugs in her space. That's not fair. It's not fair to judge that person, an addict, because in that circumstance, they have very little willpower to overcome their addiction. Avoiding it entirely was the best she could humanly do, and then she couldn't.
I have a question. In that scene in this episode, Rue was at Jules' house, right? When she saw, so because I'm like, this can't be her house. Why would her mom have loose drugs laying around when she knows her daughter's an addict? That's why I'm like, wait, that has to be Jules. No, that would be a terrible parent.
That would be terrible. It's not even fair. Addicts are addicts. Like, they can't control. They can control where they are in proximity to the drug, but if they're there, that's it. Like, that's how they work. That's how their brain chemistry is working at the moment.
She straight up stole stole drugs from Jules' house and then was like, yo, I'm out. I gotta go.
I gotta go real quick. And then she tried to get some more from Fez.
We gotta talk about that scene.
Okay, let's go for it.
Yo.
Actually, you have a story about this, so.
Yo, I actually used, so when I was in college, I actually used the scene. I was a communications major, and so I had to like use some sort of what's the word called? I had to use something to get everyone's attention, and I used that segment in this episode of Euphoria where Rue was begging Fez for the drugs. I used that scene to sort of get everyone's attention, and then I did a speech on drugs. But I do want to say that everyone in Euphoria, the whole cast did great. Fez. Zendaya, like everyone did great. But when I first seen that, I was like, wow, Zendaya is really going there with this acting thing. That was an intense scene.
Yeah.
That was a very intense scene.
She proved herself as an actress. She really did.
I was watching, I
I
don't know if you guys ever watch Actors on Actors. You ever watch that?
No.
Well, it's a YouTube channel, and they have like actors talk to other actors about, whether they got a new movie or series that's out, so they just talk amongst each other. But they did one a few months ago with Zendaya and a few other actresses, and she brought up that scene. She said that like when she was reading the script, she'd remember that script, and she'd be like, dang, it's coming to that day where I have to act and do that. But she said that, the whole cast, everyone was very comfortable with each other, and it was dope that she was in an environment where she could go there, in that character and feel good about doing it. Like, they made it very comfortable for her to go there.
Wow. And personally have always wanted to do some kind of acting, probably theater.
Do it. Yo, Javin was talking to me about how he wanted to do improv classes somewhere in the city, which we could do.
We can. We will eventually once this Corona thing lets up. Although, it's spiking, by the way, so we got to be careful about that.
Wear your masks.
Wear your masks. We're not, because we're exposed to each other and we're going to die early.
I'm not.
I'm the victim.
I'm not dying here early. But
sorry, I just wanted to finish.
Go ahead, Javid.
It's amazing to me that somebody who can get into that mentality, somebody can get into the mentality of this person is hurting on the inside, and they're willing to hurt anybody on the outside to stop the pain.
Yo, Rue was telling him, she was like, "F you, Fez. You're an effing drug dealer with 3 functioning brain cells.
Yeah, you ruined my life. You did this to me. You're a monster." And she's blaming everything on... she's a drug addict. Like, she feels lost. She feels like she's going to panic if she doesn't get the thing that stops the pain. And she'd really be willing to do almost anything to get it.
Being friends with a drug addict has to be one of the most toxic relationships you could have.
Mental illness, it's fucking a lot. It's gotta be a lot, and I think this show really shows that extremely well. If you're in a toxic relationship, that doesn't just mean all the bad things. It means the good, and the bad comes with the good, and you're stuck because you feel like if you leave, you lose all that goodness, you lose all the positives, and you're left with all that bad inside of you.
Right. Imagine being in a relationship with a drug addict. What is that like?
Insane. It's got to be so hard because they don't. We always put a trigger warning at the beginning, right?
Yeah, every video.
So being in love with a drug addict is it's got to be one of the most difficult things because they're not always thinking about you. Not that when you're in love you have to be, but specifically when they're with you, they're not really thinking about you.
They're not there.
They're not there at all. They're with whatever drug of their choice. They love you, but just not as much as they love drugs. For example, and this is an extreme example, but I took a psych class, and in that psych class she was talking about addiction, my teacher. Mm-hmm. And she was like, she actually talked to somebody. She did counseling. She talked to somebody who was a drug addict. And she was just like, the judge had told this woman, mm-hmm. if you're caught with drugs ever again, you lose your kids. She's like, okay, well, I can't lose my kids.
Right.
And so she's doing okay. And then one day she's like really craving it. And then she looks at her kid. She made her breakfast. She's just looking at her. She only has enough money for more groceries or some drugs. She's like, I love my kid, but I love drugs more.
What?
And she went out, got caught, lost her kids.
Oh my goodness. And what am I hearing right now?
And that's a horror story. That's an extreme, but it does represent the mentality of it fucks you up. It fucks you up enough. Not in every case, but if you do it enough and you become dependent on it enough, that is your life. Drugs is the number one experience you feel you can have. Nothing else compares. Love, sex, money, nothing else is more important than drugs. So to overcome that is stupidly difficult, especially if you're in a bad position. So
especially if you're a teenager,
so
or anyone, to relate this back to Rue.
With mental illness, almost certainly with mental illness. And so for people to fall in love with a drug addict, I won't judge one way or the other. I don't think it's a bad thing or a good thing. Just it's gotta be one of the most frustrating and difficult experiences. And that's kind of what Rue knows. She knows that's true. She knows that's how she makes, and they always do. They know the shame. They know that's how they make other people feel, but they can't help themselves because they're addicts. It's a mental ill. It's not like a choice. It's sickness. It's a real disease. Sorry, we went off.
Right. No, but I mean, it's the theme of the show. Drugs, love, and all this complicated, confusing things that everyone's going on. Yeah. And you see all of that, and I mean, mostly Bruce. I mean, every character has their thing that they're going through. Nate, he's toxic. Jules, What's Jules' things? What's her
She's
issue?
just kind of going. Like,
She
I would
really-
say transition is a really good word to use for her.
Okay.
Not just physiologically, but also, like, you know, she's definitely out there in terms of her personality, but not in a bad way. She's just kind of different from most people, and she knows it, and she's trying to cope with it.
Yeah, I think that's why Rue likes her so much too.
Oh,
she's just so.
100%.
She said she's never met someone like Jules.
Oh, I've met people like that, but they're definitely special. Like,
I have too. Yeah.
They're cool. I guess is the best word to use. They're like pretty cool people.
The first woman I fell in love with was so different. I remember when I met her, I was like, "There's women like this." I was really like, "Wow," because at that time,
It's really cute.
I was like, I thought like, I'm like, females can be so boring. Like, there's no one that's gonna really excite. That's what I was thinking.
No, I get it. I mean, we were all.
Then I met her. I'm like, oh wow.
Holy shit.
But yeah, so I see why, to relate it back to Euphoria in the episode, like I see why Rue would enjoy someone like Jules so much to where she's like, yo, there's nothing she can do to make me not ever want to be with her or like her.
Yeah, and that's a different kind of addiction, which I'm not gonna.
Would you say that Rue's addicted to Jules?
I would say so.
Yeah,
Because
okay,
think about this. You've had maybe a couple positive experiences in your life, and all of them have been drug related. Even her relationship with Fez, which is largely positive, is drug related.
Wow.
Her mom doesn't treat her the way that would make her feel supported and safe. Her sister, great, but isn't really there for her. She's not doing anything, and that's not a bash on her sister. It's just true. It hasn't had too many positive experiences. Jules is a positive, non-drug related experience. That's gotta feel pretty fucking good for Rue after so long of not getting that.
Right. Her sister. We spoke about her briefly in the previous episode. What you should check out. I'll put it right here.
Watch it.
Yeah, it's her sister is kind of a different. Like you're saying, like she does nothing, right? And I kind of go with that too. She kind of doesn't do, and it's like, what is she supposed to do exactly?
No,
though?
it's not her
I know
job.
that in this episode, what's the name of the black dude that Rue was talking to?
Ali.
Oh yeah. When he was asking her, when he was talking to her after they had the what is it, when they rehab session or whatever?
Yeah.
He said that he asked her like your little sister, like who helped you? Someone had to save you, and she said it was my little sister. So we do see that the little sister did something. I mean, she saved her older sister, and he was just talking about, you know, how's that gonna affect her brain? It's gonna affect her relationships with people down the line, or, you know, even falling in love. Like it's deeper than just what it was.
She's gonna have a hard time trusting.
Right. And I just say that to say that I think that she does what she thinks she can do, and a lot of it is nothing. I feel like the sister doesn't work against her or really much for her.
It's neutral.
She's just there, and it's kind of too much for her. Like even there's a scene in the third episode where Rue comes home like at 5:30 a.m. right, and the mom, she basically was pressing her like, yo, are you doing drugs again? And then the sister comes out, and the mom just tells the little sister, go back in the room, like instantly. Just go back in the room.
It's fine when it's clearly not fine. I actually do think, while in some circumstances that's helpful to be like, it's okay, but if somebody is they're aware of the situation,
Right.
and you are trying to de-escalate it, saying it's fine, it's okay, go back is extremely damaging.
Did she say that?
Harmful. She's like, yep, it's okay, sweetie, we're fine.
I think
go
she
back.
just said go back to bed. I don't know, but I see what you're saying though.
Yeah, it's just damaging to not acknowledge the reality of a situation, especially as it's happening. Now, with kids, that's a little bit different. Like when parents are fighting and the kid's like, what's going on? You say, not right now. Like, it's okay. We're okay. Just let that finish out. But then you do have to explain to them the reality of the situation.
At some point, yeah.
Because their daughter just feels helpless. Like,
yeah.
could you imagine just... You see somebody you care about and another person you care about just constantly in this tension, and you just have to, and you're told specifically, you can't do anything about it. You literally aren't enough to handle this situation.
And that's probably what Rue's sister felt like, or feels like.
Constantly. That's extremely damaging.
Which is why we don't see her do much for or against that. But we do know that they have somewhat of a healthy relationship. You see that Rue loves her sister and her sister loves her.
Yeah. And it's not anyone out there, it's not your job to. There's this quote in the show that I really love, and we're probably gonna do a casual conversation. It's Legion. Love that
Legion.
show.
I gotta finish.
Amazing. Spoiler alert towards the end of the series. It's not really a spoiler.
So
but,
fast forward this part if you want to hear this.
My favorite quote from it, and I'm paraphrasing, is not everybody wants to be saved. You can't save everyone.
That's true.
And I think
We learned that from J. Cole. He has
Cole?
a song called "Don't Save Her."
don't say no, it's true. It's not your job. If you want it to be your job, try your best, try 100%. But if you don't want to dive in, that's not your job. You don't have to save them. In fact, you probably can't.
But that's her sibling. That's
Of
like,
course.
and not only that, from what we know, I mean, who knows what'll happen in season 2? But those are all. She only has 2 daughters.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that makes siblings even closer. It's just them 2.
100%. However, that's all the more reason why she shouldn't get involved unless her sister asks. The best thing she can do is live her best life and be a positive influence to her sister.
I feel like that's lame as hell. I'd want to help my sibling. Like, yo,
How?
I don't need her to come to me and ask me for help. If I see that somebody I love and care about is on drugs, I'm gonna be there and with them.
But she's making those choices. She's deliberately pushing her sister
I think it gets
away.
to a point to where it's like, I don't know, man. That's a difficult one.
It's so I'm not an expert by any means.
We're
That's just
never
the-
experts. We say that all the time. We
I
just
hope
2
you
guys
memorize
that
it,
talk
write it on your wrist.
on camera.
Yes, that's it. That's
Check us out on Spotify and iTunes, though. You could definitely listen to us talk there.
Yes.
Links in the description. Check out the link tree. Ralph is going to, again, be having an Instagram. Check that out. Everything's going to be in the description. Just have to put that in there.
Check it out. But oh man, we've been talking about Rue. She's the main character in my opinion.
I mean, it's centered around her. I mean, there's a lot of, we could talk about, like, again, this episode, there's a lot of themes, but this was like the episode of, I almost said Maddie again, but Kat.
Yeah, her coming into her own. She had an arc. She had a character arc. This was very heavily about Kat's character
And then
arc.
we see Nate and Maddie, and we see how Maddie raises a brow with Nate because of the phone situation in the car. She goes through his phone. She sees all the dick pics, and she's like, these weren't sent to me. That's what I think she was saying in her head. So that raised a brow. And I think even the episode after, one of these episodes, is when she thinks that Nate is gay or something.
Yeah, and he is. Well, not 100%, obviously, but he's definitely got...
What, like
those
bi?
Yeah, he's bi. I would say so. He's still attracted to women to some degree, although I would definitely say... It's hard to say. I would say he's more attracted to men, but that might just be because he hasn't had a lot of experience with men and wants to. So I don't know if he's more homosexual than he is heterosexual or whatever the percentage is. But I would say right now, he's definitely hitting that point where he's like, shit, I want to try stuff with dudes, but he can't admit that to himself. So he's just kind of
like his dad.
Exactly like his dad. And that's horrifying. Seeing yourself, if you don't like your dad, seeing yourself have the same tendencies as your dad is agonizing. It's agonizing.
I bet. And then we also see McKay and Cassie, and I like them. They're cute. Like,
Cute.
I really like them. They're cool. Just the same way I like Kat and Ethan.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're.
I love them.
What is the cutest couple in Euphoria?
It's
like
Kat
in
and
this
Ethan for
particular
me.
episode. You think so? I think I would have to go with them too.
But McKay and Cassie are definitely a close second. The happy times, because Cassie's so supportive and so cool. This is entirely speculation. I'm just gonna fangirl over this for a second, but I think. Thank you. That's right.
Let's hear it.
Cassie, the only flaw in my opinion that she has is that she kind of dumbs herself down for people, because it seems like she's very smart. It seems like she's very emotionally intelligent and very capable of understanding people's she is there for McKay most of the time. She's there for his needs and his wants,
Right.
and not even at the detriment to herself. She wants this. This is something she wants, and McKay has always treated her very respectfully. Very
he
kind.
has.
And even though he's not necessarily the most considerate, which, you know, he could step up his game, but he's still very kind to her. And I don't think that's something she gets a lot, especially. So she dumps herself down. McKay's a little inconsiderate, but other than that, they seem very, very awesome, and I like them together.
Yeah, I like them together. Like you said, she does support him, and he's super cool. Like, I think this was episode 2, but when she was like trying to have sex with him, and he was just like, "Yo, I just want to chill," and then like they spoke about that later, and they kind of like what I'm saying is they're always on the same page for the most part, which is cool.
Yeah, until McKay starts getting a little toxic, and then you know what happens? That's when things
starts getting toxic.
He does later on start giving into this toxic masculinity and this idea that in order to be a man, you have to be cold and you have to be all of these things, which isn't true. And he almost knows it's not true, but I mean, it got to him. The pressure gets to him. Teenagerism.
Teenagerism. I coined that. Where's the? I don't think I have a button for that one.
I guess it's
like a statement, though. All right, teenagerism. That's what it is.
It's coined. It's a word now. We don't have a button for that. I never thought we'd need a button for that, but
neither did I.
I guess we're gonna be making up a lot of words.
What if people ask what is teenagerism though? You said the perfect definition yesterday.
Okay, so let me see if I can get this. It's the mentality you have during when you're a teenager, where you allow yourself to give in to the toxic ideals of other individuals at the expense of your own development and self-awareness.
Yo.
Something like that. Something to that effect. Yeah. Fuck yes.
I gotta be honest though. I feel like, yes, that was perfect, but I feel like someone would just be like, well, isn't that just peer pressure?
Yeah, but it's a
little deeper than that.
I want to give a more fleshed out definition. I don't think it's just peer pressure. Peer pressure is where you give into an action in the moment, but this is a mentality, a trend where this is not something you came up with organically. It's something some other group of people put into you and you live that. That's your mentality now. And it didn't come from you, and you'll yet identify with it for the rest of your life, presumably, until you can get rid of it.
Right. Do we see any teenagerism in this episode? We for sure see it in the second episode with Kat.
You know what? I don't think so.
I don't think we see anyone suffering from teenagerism.
Yeah, you know it when you see it, don't you?
Right? Yeah, you know it when you see it.
You know
like,
it when you see it.
That's teenagerism right there.
Teenagerism.
I don't think that happened in this episode. But we see a whole lot of other things. We even see one of the coolest shots in Euphoria in episode 3, because it's full of great, interesting shots. But the scene with Jules and Nate when they're texting each other, and then like from different
we didn't even get to
parts
talk
of
about
life.
the cinematography.
Yeah, and then like they slowly come together, and then they meet in the classroom. So dope. Well, I remember when I first seen that, I was like, wow, it was really unique,
really cool. In the warm, like they contrast the warm and cold lighting, and then it's so cool. Then the upside down shot with you like that. Jules was walking up to Rue, and Rue was upside down. I think that's another example.
That's a cool feel. Very
emotional
relaxed,
realism, like literalizing the perspective of the
super dope. Like this show is full of great cinematography. You see it, even the lighting. I like the scene where the scenes where they were showing Maddie. I always go to Maddie. Maybe I'm obsessed with her. The scenes with McKay and Cassie when they're at the party and the blue lighting and everything, like all that stuff looks really, really cool.
Also, don't put fish in vodka. Don't do it.
Don't even drink vodka. Well, I don't like vodka.
Gross. Oh my God.
Yo, I always think about when they did these party scenes in Euphoria. I'm like, that shit must have been dope as hell. That must have just been super cool, just chilling. Like,
yeah, all those extras just fucking going at it, just having fun. But
I don't drink vodka.
Vodka's disgusting to me. I really, really don't like vodka, and I don't like fish in my vodka. Just don't do it. I guess as a general policy, don't drink alcohol.
I propose a
don't
question.
Eat fish that are alive.
I propose a question. Did anyone have like some like Euphoria parties when Euphoria first was out? Absolutely. And it was popping? I'm pretty sure they did. And no one invited me or you or Ralph?
Nobody invites me to party. Well, nobody invited me to parties a few years ago even.
So, really?
Yeah, it's only when I met you that I started going to parties.
That changed your life a little bit?
He changed my life. My whole life.
We changed each other's life.
That's true. It's really nice. We got a Mandela.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, subscribe. We got a Mandela. I think that wraps it up for this third episode. If you like what you've seen what you like, definitely support the channel. Support Ralph, support us, follow us on all social medias, and continue to watch us grow, because that's what we're going to do here.
There we are.
and we will see you guys next time.
See you next time.